Hello everyone, it's end of term. We did it! Yay! Well done for working so hard all term long. Now you deserve a nice bedtime story and a good long sleep. So here I'm going to read the sleep book. Now this book is amazing because it actually makes you fall asleep. So try not to yawn while you read or listen along. The news just came in from the county of Heck. There is a very small bug by the name of Van Vleck. Is yawning so wide you can look down his neck. This may not seem very important, I know, but it is. So I'm bothering telling you so. A yawn is quite catching, you see, like a cough. It just takes one yawn to start off other yawns off. Now the news has come in that some friends of Van Vleck's are yawning so wide you can look down their necks. And at this moment, right now, under 7 more noses, great yawns in blossom, they're blooming like roses. The yawn of that one little bug is still spreading. According to latest report, it is heading across the wide field, through the sleepy night air, across the whole country towards every which where. And people are gradually starting to say, I feel rather drowsy, I've had quite a day. Creatures are starting to think about rest. 2 Biffa birds are now building their nest. They do it each night, and quite often I wonder how they do this big job without making a blunder. But that is their problem, not yours and not mine. The point is they're going to bed, and that is fine. Sleep thoughts are spreading throughout the whole land. The time of night brushing of teeth is at hand. Up at Herkimer Falls, where the great river rushes and crashes down crags in great gargling gushes, the Herkimer sisters are using their brushes. Those falling are just grand for toothbrushing beneath, if you happen to be up that way with your teeth. The news just came in from the castle of Kerp that the lights are all out and the drawbridge is up. And the old drawbridge drawer just said with a yawn, my drawbridge is drawn and is going to stay drawn till the milkman delivers the milk about dawn. I'm going to bed now, so nobody better come round with a special delivery letter. The number of sleepers is steadily growing. Bed is where more and more people are going. In Culper Springs, in the Stiltwalkers' Hall, the Stiltwater stilts are all stacked on the wall. The Stiltwalker walkers have called it a day. They're all tucked out and they're snoozing away. This is very big news. It's important to know, and that's why I'm bothering telling you so. Way out in the west, in the town of Meseed, the Trinklehorn Honkers Club went to bed. Every horn has been quietly hung on a hook, for a night is their own private Hinklehorn nook. All this long happy day they've been honking about, and as little Hinklehorn honkers have honked themselves out. But they wake up quite fresh in the morning, and then they start all Hinklehorning honking again. Everywhere creatures are falling asleep. The collapsed freak, the collapsed in a heap. And by adding the frink to the others before, I'm going to give you the who's asleep score. Right now, 4,404 creatures are happily, deeply in slumber. I think you'll agree that's a whopping fine number. Counting up sleepers, just how do we do it? Really quite simple, there's nothing much to it. We find out how many, we learn the amount by an audio-teleo-tallio count. On a mountain halfway between Rio and Rome, we have a machine in the Pelixdrome, which listens and looks into everyone's home, and whenever it sees a new sleeper go flop, it jiggles and lets a new biggle bop drop. Our chap counts these balls as they plump in a cup, and that's how we know who is down and who is up. Do you talk in your sleep? It's a wonderful sport, and I have some news of this sport to report. The world champion sleep talkers Joe and Mo Redcoff have just gone to sleep, and they're taking their heads off. For 55 years now, each chattering brother has babbled and gabbled all night to the other. They've talked about laws, and they've talked about gauze. They've talked about paws, and they've talked about floors. They've talked quite a lot about Santa Claus. And the reason I'm telling you this is because you should take up this sport. It's just fine for the jaws. Do you walk in your sleep? I just had a report of some interesting news of this popular sport. Near Fenwick Fen there's a sleepwalking group which not only walks but it walks a loop-the-loop. Every night they go miles. While they walk to such a length, they have to keep eating to keep up their strength. So every so often one puts down the hoop, stops hooping and does some quick snooping for soup. That's why they are known as the Hooper Soup Group. Sleepwalking 2 are the curious crandalls who sleepwalk on hills with assorted sized candles. The crandalls walk mighty in their slumbering peace, in spite of slight burns from the hot dripping grease. The crandalls wear candles because they walk far, and if they wake up, want to see where they are. Now the news has arrived from the Valley of Vale that a Chippenham mup has been bitten his tail, which he does every night before shutting his eyes. Such nipping sounds silly, but really it's wise. He has no alarm clock, so this is the way. He'll make sure that he'll wake at the right time of day. His tail is so long he won't feel any pain till the nip makes the trip and gets up to his brain. In exactly 8 hours, the Chippenham mup will at least feel the bite and yell ouch and wake up. A Mr. and Mrs. J. Carmel Crocs have just gone to bed near the town of Fort Knox, and they, by the way, have the finest of clocks. I'm not at all sure that I quite understand just how the thing works with that one extra hand, but I do know the clock does one very slick trick. It doesn't tick-tock, how it goes tock-tick. So with ticks in its tocker and tocks in its ticker, it saves lots of time and sleep goes quicker. What a fine night for sleeping, from all that I hear. It's the best night for sleeping in many a year. There's even been a sleep in the Zaneback Hotel, and people don't usually sleep there too well. The beds are like rocks, and everyone knows the sheets are too short, they won't cover your toes. So if people are actually sleeping in there, it's a great night for sleeping. It must be in the air. It's a great night for snores. I just had to report of some boys who are tops in a musical sport. The snoriest snorers in all of our fair land are Snorty and McPhail and a Snore-a-Lot band. This band can snore Dixie and Old Swain River so loud it would make 40 elephants shiver. The loudest of all the boys is McPhail. He snores with his head in a 3-gallon pail. So they snore in a cave 20 miles out of town. If they snored closer in, they would snore the town down. Do you know who's asleep out in Fuguna Laguna? 2 very nice Funa Laguna Bambuna. We've added them into our Who's Asleep count, which has grown to a really amazing amount. Exactly 8,808 creatures are sleeping now. Isn't that great? A Jed in a bed, and the bed of a Jed is the softest of beds in the world, it is said. He makes it from pom-poms he grows on his head, and he's sleeping right now on the softest of fluff, completely exhausted from growing this stuff. The news has come in from the district of Doff. The 2 oft are off asleep, and they're sleeping aloft. And how are they able to sleep off the ground? I would tell you, I weighed one last week and I found that his oft is so light he weighs -1 pound. A moose is asleep, he is dreaming of moose drinks. A goose is asleep, he is dreaming of goose drinks. That's well and good when a moose dreams of moose juice, and nothing goes wrong when a goose dreams of goose juice. But it isn't so good when a moose and a goose start dreaming they're drinking the other one's juice. Moose juice, not goose juice, is juice for a moose, and goose juice, not moose juice, is juice for a goose. So when goose gets a mouthful of juices of moose, and moose gets a mouthful of juices of goose, they always fall out of their beds scream. So I'm warning you now, never drink in your dream. Speaking of dreaming, I think you should note that the Bumble Tub Club is now dreaming afloat. Every night they go dreaming down Bubble Tub Creek, except for one night every 3rd or 4th week, when they stop for repairs because their bumble tubs leak, and tonight they're aloft full of dreams, full of bliss, and that's why I'm bothering to tell you this. At the fork of a road in the Valley of Fode, 5-foot wary salesman has laid down their load. All day they race round in the heat at top speeds, unsuccessfully trying to sell zillas of seeds, which nobody wanted because nobody needs. Tomorrow will come, they'll be back to their chore. They'll start on the road, sing a sewing floor once more. But tonight they've forgotten their feet are so sore, and that's what the wonderful night time is for. Everywhere creatures have shut off their voices, they've gone to bed in the beds of their choices. They're sleeping in nooks, they're sleeping in cracks, some on their tummies, some on their backs. They're peacefully sleeping in comfortable holes, some even on soft, tough barbershop holes. The number of sleepers is now past the millions, and the number of sleepers is now past the billions. They're sleeping on steps and on strings and on floors, in mailbox ships and the keyhole of doors. Every worm on a fish hook is safe for the night. Every fish in the sea is too sleepy to bite. Every whale in the ocean has turned off his sprout. Every light between here and far foodle is out. And now adding things up, we are way beyond billions. Whose asleep count score is now in the zillions. 99 zillion, 9 trillion and 2 creatures are sleeping. So how about you? When you put our light, then the number will be 99 zillion, 9 trillion and 3. Good night. Good night, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this. You know, Dr. Seuss is one of my absolute favourites. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you soon.